Talk 99.7 WTN, an economy update with our own president, Donald J. Trump, coming up in just a moment. An illegal alien update coming up in mere seconds. My name is Matt Murphy, and we welcome you to the Matt Murphy Radio Show. If you're just joining us, just getting in your automobiles or whatnot, we thank you for being a part of our day and allowing us to be a part of your day. 9 minutes after 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and really everywhere in the Central Time Zone. Jackson's behind the glass. He makes sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. Say hello, Jackson.
Hello.
And then there's Ken Weaver. He's back in News Closet B. They don't give him a window, but they give him the time twice an hour to give you the headlines that you need to know about, and he inundates you with all this heat index nonsense.
No, that's National Weather Service that does it.
Mm-hmm. So it's somebody wanted me to tell you something, Ken.
Yes, sir.
93 in the barn. That's what they said.
93 in the barn.
That's what they said.
What's the real feels, Ken?
Real field temperature right now is 94.
I feel like it's 72.
I'm actually a little chilly.
I feel so. I hear you when I'm coming in, listening to good old Chad Benson and Ken Weaver go back and forth, and he's talking to the weather wizard, which is what Chad calls Ken, and they're talking and they're going on. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, you know what it feels like to me outside? About 68. And y'all are going to look at me like, what? And I'm going to say, well, that's the way it feels to me. Who are you to tell me what it feels like out there? That's me.
I won't say that. I'll just say, how about you, Brother Murphy?
You will. That's true. By the way, you need to get over there to that McKay's. You really do.
Dude, you should not have done
Whatever. What are you talking about? That was easy. That was, look, you're my man. What are you talking about?
Well, it's very nice of you.
Oh, God, stop it.
That's
the least I could do.
Brother Murphy, by the way, he helped me complete my journey with Steve Perry as the lead singer.
Mm-hmm.
My collection of Journey vinyls with Steve Perry as the lead singer.
There was there were two copies over there. One of them said scratched on it, so I didn't get that copy. I got that copy, and that copy. Listen, man, oh man, it was a lucrative evening at McKay's for Matt Murphy.
I'm telling you,
that.
dude. How many CDs did you turn in?
There was a lot of them. There was a lot of.
Like, did you have a big old box of them?
Yeah, there were a lot of jazz CDs. A lot from E's grandfather, who he was into. What was that guy's name? Dave Brubeck.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of those. A lot of like 40s and 50s and 60s type big band type stuff. And I like all of that stuff, but I want to get rid of every CD I've ever owned. I want to get rid of the physical media and get, because I don't listen to it anymore. So I turned all that in, and more into albums nowadays anyway. But yeah. I think quality over quantity, Ken. Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity, and yeah, that Dave Brubeck, man, that's some good stuff.
Oh yeah. And so we turned in a bunch of stuff last night and got a big old – they'll give you cash if you want cash, or they'll give you credit. And obviously, the credit, it's about double what you get in the cash. So it was
they take cassettes?
Yeah, they do.
I got a big old mess of cassettes.
They take cassettes.
Big old mess of cassettes.
But
see, I'm not going to get rid of it. I just can't do it. I love music so much, and I like the tangible.
Yeah, you want to be able to hold it, look at it,
right,
feel of it.
And when Jennifer and I started, looking for vinyl, at first we got a couple of albums. We got a couple of Johnny Cash and Loretta Lynn and some Patsy Cline albums, and then it just took off. We thought we'd just be happy just every now and then slapping on Patsy or Loretta and Johnny. And then, man, it's turned into, we're going crazy.
I absolutely love the old country albums, the deep cuts on the country albums.
Yeah.
It's where I found out about the George Jones tune, and I eventually talked to the guy that wrote this tune.
Yeah.
What was it? It was Leaving Our Love All Over the Place.
Oh, boy.
Do you know the song Leaving Our Love All Over the Place?
Yes.
And it was obviously a deep cut. It was never presented as a single on radio stations. But the couple in that song die.
Yeah, it's not.
It is an interesting tune, Ken Weaver.
Dude, the possum sang more than a few songs. They'll bring a tear to your eye.
No question. No question.
And man, his voice, George Jones' voice. It's just you can't match it. I mean,
It had a moan to it.
It had a moan, but it was all. I don't know how he did it, man. But I mean, God gave him one heck of a voice, and I sure am thankful for George Jones' music.
Man, I am too. I do say I've always said everybody wants to say the saddest song ever written was "He Stopped Loving Her Today."
Yes,
And it's
sir.
a pretty sad one.
It is.
And people bring up Vince Gill and "When I Call Your Name." That's a pretty good one too. Boy, oh boy, talk about somebody that could moan out a lyric. But I stand by the saddest song or the saddest verse ever written is Merle Haggard.
Merle had some.
Merle had Holding Things Together.
Holding
The
things
second
together.
verse of Holding Things Together, I think, is the saddest lyrics ever written in country music.
I got to see this. Things together.
It is.
I love the Hag too, man.
It's a song about, a lot of people were writing music about. So I think I got it, Ken. So a lot of people were writing music about men leaving women, and this is a song about a woman leaving a man with their two children. And the second verse of the song, I think I'm right. It says, "Today was Angie's birthday.
Yeah.
I guess it slipped your mind. I tried twice to call you, but no answer either time. But the postman brought a package I mailed some days ago. I signed it love from Mama, so Angie wouldn't know."
Yeah.
That'll rip your guts out.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
Yeah.
Anyway.
Merle Haggard, those old school guys, man, and gals.
That's country
You just
music.
can't beat them. You
That's
can't
real
beat
country
them.
music. We will have Dusty Slay, who's got a new Netflix special out. He's a good friend of the show. We're going to have Dusty on to talk about country music because he's taking a strong stand that this new stuff is not real country. So I'll leave it for y'all to decide. I'm not.
Yeah, because I like all kinds of music. I mean, I love all kinds, and I know what he's saying. It's not. I like to say it's not the traditional country that I'm used to.
That's right.
I mean, these people are still very talented.
Oh, no question.
But there's just something about the fiddle, the guitar, the mandolin, the banjo,
Man.
No electronics.
This Conway Twitty standing up there on stage, just pouring
Conway
his
Twitty,
heart out, man.
Boy, those ladies loved Conway Twitty.
I did. I wonder what they would have thought when they saw him bald. You know what I'd like
He
to
wasn't
see?
bald, was he?
I think he was.
He was wearing a toupee?
No, yes, Conway wore a toupee. Come on.
He did not.
That's not his real deal. Come on. What I want to see Mandis in the Conway toupee. That's what I want to see. Now we're talking. That'd be something else. Yeah, Ken, you reminded me of that line from Blues Brothers when they walked into the bar. And what kind of music do y'all play? Oh, we play both kinds, country and Western. I'm like, okay. They set up and they started singing.
Took the good old boy's place.
Yep. They sang the hell out of "Stand By Your Man."
Yes, they did.
Oh, they got them all. They got those fellas busted up enough. They started throwing beer bottles at the chicken wire.
Who are you guys? We're the good old boys.
Orange whip, orange whip, orange whip. 3 orange whips. Gosh, I hope the governor's not listening to this on his way over here.
Oh, he probably is.
Well, let's get into some meat and taters.
Yes, sir.
According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, over the past 6 months, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has arrested 214 illegal aliens in the Houston area alone. This is in Houston, Texas, for immigration violations, and each of those individuals have been charged with a sex offense involving a minor. 214 of these individuals. When your liberal friends tell you that Donald Trump's doing something that's just awful and horrible and horrific, ask them about all these sex offenders that are being caught and charged. The figure surpasses the total number of similar arrests made by the Houston field office during the entire 2024 fiscal year, which recorded 211 such apprehensions. The increase in arrests attributable to the comprehensive whole-of-government strategy initiated by the Trump administration. Central to that approach, the deployment of multi-agency targeting teams within operational jurisdiction. In other words, Trump's immigration progress is robust. It is working, and we thank Donald Trump for it. And the Trump administration by extension, and Tom Homan, and Kristi Noem, and the rest of them. All right, Patrick's got a thought on Conway Twitty, and we'll take a time out, and I think we've got the governor a little bit early. Patrick, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty did a song called back years and years ago called "You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly." It was called "You're the Reason."
Yeah.
Toward the end of that song, Loretta Lynn threw a ding at Conway Twitty, saying, "Well, yeah, what about the ones that's bald?"
I know the song well.
It makes
Yeah.
you almost wonder if even back then he had a toupee. Who knows?
No, I think he did. I mean, because she got him because they're just riffing on one another toward the end of that song, and he said something about the kids taking after her.
Her side of the family.
And she goes,
Said,
"Oh, really? Well, what about
the ones that's bald?"
And he just broke up. He just started. He goes, "Well, I guess you got a point."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Conway was not.
Good man.
Sorry, Patrick. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Conway was follically challenged, as they say. Not so much. I mean, Conway could have used advanced hair. You know, next time I talk about advanced hair, I'm going to talk about Conway Twitty. It's 20 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I always get nervous when advanced security starts walking around, but no need to be nervous. That advanced security is not for me. It is for our next guest. We are honored to have the governor of the great state of Tennessee in studio with us to talk about some of the wonderful things that we've been discussing at length on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And without further ado, we say welcome, Governor. How are you, sir?
Hey, Matt. Thank you, sir. I'm happy to be back in studio with you.
Well, it's good to have you back. I think you've been kind of busy lately.
It's been, it's been a busy summer, but it's been very productive.
I think so. Well, I mean, let's just start chomping on that elephant in the room.
Yep.
It's a very exciting time. We heard this story maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
There were a couple of little pieces about it, and it came to our attention. And it was one of those blips that came up. Hey, tunnel in Tennessee, Nashville tunnel, helping out tourists from the airport to downtown. And it's one of those things you go, yeah, right, whatever.
Yeah.
And 3 months later, there you are, and there's the Boring Company, and there's B&A, and there's the Tourism Bureau, and y'all are telling me this is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was started more than 3 months ago. We've been working on this for quite a while, and we knew that the Boring Company was looking to find a city that they could invest in, and you know they're a technologically advanced company that's very reputable, and they're a global company, and they have done this. They've done it in Vegas, and they've started in some other places, but they saw Nashville and they saw the uniqueness of the city, and they saw why it would make their business model work. And so they started talking to us, and we are in a really fortunate spot right now.
Tell me what your initial thoughts were when this was brought to you, when you started having conversations with your folks or with the Boring Company. Walk me through how that went with you.
Well, you know, when part of your job is to think about infrastructure and transportation and transit and moving people, and when that's part of your job, it's kind of why we did the Transportation Modernization Act with the General Assembly and had so much collaboration there, because we want to figure out how it is that we can be in a state that's growing this fast, that has this economic, activity that we do, the fastest growing economy in the country, one of them, and that we can stay ahead of that and that we can invest wisely. And so when you're thinking about infrastructure and then a company comes along and says, we'd like to invest, we'd like to build a transit system in your city. We want to start with a tunnel that moves people from the airport to the city center. And our business model is we invest, we create it, we build it, we do it, and at no cost to you or no cost to your taxpayers, because it works for us as a business. it was, music to my ears. I mean, that any city in America would want to have a transit system built at no cost to the city or the state, and that's what we got.
Obviously, your role as governor is to not only bring these opportunities in, but to make sure that they're going to be safe, whether it's in the process of construction or in the aftermath. Walk us through those considerations and the state role in making sure that everything that the Boring Company wants to do is going to be safe while it's being constructed, and then obviously safe in the implementation.
And it's been part of the process over the last year. Do your due diligence, understand how they do this, look at what they've already done. They've just recently, Homeland Security, graded them as the safest transportation company in the country. They are creating tunnels at a rate faster than any tunnel creating company in this country. And they're doing so incredibly safely. They have moved 3 million people through their Las Vegas loop safely. This is a company, too, that, it's all electric, so there's no emissions. There's no above-ground construction. So when people think about transit systems and moving people, oftentimes you talk about light rail or, some kind of an above-ground transit system that's going to cause disruption and road closures and construction. That isn't going to happen here. They're going to do this all underground, and then the system's going to be built, and Tennesseans are going to get to use it. And importantly, for the people that live in this city, thousands and thousands of people that go from the airport to the city center are not going to be on our roads. So it's going to reduce congestion. It's going to reduce wear and tear on our highways. It is a huge win for our city and for our state. And, the Boring Company could have gone anywhere, but they chose to come here, and we're excited about that.
It just feels like it was the perfect opportunity for them and the perfect city for them to expand their brand and to give a little proof of performance to the rest of the country and the rest of the world that the system that they've created works, it's efficient, and it works for cities like ours. I mean, obviously, we're known as a tourism destination, and this can only help nationally and internationally, Nashville and by extension, the entire state.
Yeah, and what they did in Vegas is first they do the sort of tourist loop, but then they begin to expand, and they have stations all over the city, and it's going to be an opportunity for Nashvillians to move from one place in the city to another at a cost that's less than traditional movement, to less than catching a taxi or riding an Uber, and it's going to be faster. And again, it's going to alleviate congestion on our roads. So it's a cutting edge company that, we may be the second city that they put something in, but we're not going to be the last city. This is going to be something that starts happening all over the country.
So if I that if I ask you anything, I mean, you're seasoned enough, you'll say, Matt, I can't tell you about that. I can't talk about that right now. But it's my understanding that the idea is, in working with the state, that the state gives them authorization, gives the Boring Company the authorization to utilize state-owned property for the underground construction of the tunnels. And so we expect that the utilization will be more on state roadways or state thoroughfares that the state already owns.
At least initially, that's right. I mean, and obviously what the Boring Company wants to do is as the CEO said yesterday, we only want to do something that's useful. And so we know this is going to be useful, and it'll be on state property from one location to the other. And then if it's determined to be useful by the people of this city, then they'll look to expand that in state property initially, or maybe even finally. But their plan, and they've already begun, they're having a job fair, they're going to engage, they're meeting with people. What's interesting is the same people that own this company own a company that has invested billions of dollars in Memphis, XAI. And initially there was sort of this, do we want this here? There was, political talk of something that's really pretty non-political, just like this one is. There's not much political about this. You can make it political if you want to, but there's a reason why you had hundreds of business people, the chamber, the Visitors Bureau, the convention center, the airport authority, all of them there, leaders in this city, no one looking at each other and saying, are you a Democrat or you're a Republican? Like, these are people that are serious about what's good for our city. And XAI, which is a company owned by the same parent company, is, they're investing billions in Memphis, and they have engaged the city. They've engaged leaders. They are investing in the public school system. They are a good corporate citizen who understands that that's important for the success of that city and that investment, and they're going to do the same thing here.
Noticeably absent in the announcement were city leaders. And I know that Mayor Freddie O'Connell has issued a statement saying that, they have some questions and concerns. What are your hopes in terms of, I would think the state believes in this project. People that I talk to believe in it. I certainly am excited about it. I think most Nashvillians are. Is the hope that the city will jump on board as well? What is your message
well,
to
Well, let me say
leadership?
this. You said there weren't city leaders there. There were a lot of city leaders there. There were CEOs of major companies here. There were the head of the chamber, the head of the airport, the head of the convention center. There are city leaders there, people that are invested in
I should say
this.
Nobody from the mayor's office. I should say.
There were, I can't speak for the mayor, but the mayor and I have had conversations about this for some time, and we continue to meet and talk about that. And as I said yesterday, those conversations have been very productive. Now, I'm not going to speak for him, and he has to, he has said that there are questions to be answered, and he and I talked about that. I said, we want the questions, and the Boring Company wants those questions. They'll answer those questions, and I think what will happen is people will see that this really is a great thing for our city, and there's not much to question about how effective and how efficient and how it could help in many ways and how it can help all of us. But people will have questions, and they'll get the questions answered. And as this unfolds, it's going to be something that I think most everybody that's serious about what's good for Nashville and Tennessee will be on board with it.
And what has, it seems to me, been hardest to wrap our heads around is that this is a type of transportation that is private in nature. And I think people mentally, when they think of transportation, they think, well, there has to be a level of government involvement. And there is, oversight and making sure that things are done safely like we talked about. But it's hard for them to envision new ways to do things at no cost to the taxpayer. And I would stress, that's one of the most difficult things that I've had to express to the listening audience, that, look, they're like, well, how much is this going to cost us? And, you're writing a blank check to this billionaire guy. And I'm like, nobody's writing a check to anybody.
Yeah, there's not any checks. It is hard for people to believe that, except this is a forward-thinking company, and this is a forward-thinking idea. And this is, when I did my State of the State address in January, and I said, this is the year we ought to think bigger. And we ought to see the world not as it is, but as it could be. And this is kind of a moment where you say, oh, this is what it could be. It doesn't have to be government-funded transit systems that are above ground and cost billions of dollars, like the last transit proposal in Nashville, which was billions of dollars. And it doesn't have to be that. And is government in a partnership here? Absolutely. Government, when some private company builds a high-rise building in downtown Nashville, government's involved in that. Planning and permitting and oversight to make sure it's safe and all of the things that government has responsibility to do. That'll happen in this project too. But this is like none other from a transit system standpoint that we've seen. It is a private system, and people will pay to get on it and go and use it, but the taxpayers will not pay for this. Only the people that want to use it. And the ones that use it then will not be using the roads and the bridges and the highways.
So what are next steps functionally? It's my understanding that the state is ready to make an agreement to give sort of a terminus and a staging area downtown that the state currently owns. I believe it's a parking area right now. And what are some of those other particulars that we can expect moving forward?
This is a big construction project and a big infrastructure construction project that'll have a process and a plan. There'll be engagement with the public. There will be decisions about where there are stations, if there are additional stations. Right now, the plan is to go from the airport to the city center in an 8-minute or 7 or 8 minute ride on an 8 or 9 mile loop, and that's number one. That's what's going to happen first, and we'll work our way through that and then make decisions going forward. So the next steps are to get started, but at the same time, there'll be engagement, there'll be hearings, there'll be process that any major construction infrastructure project would have. The big difference is that it isn't going to cost the taxpayers.
Well, and I would think the idea, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is that these private businesses downtown that think, wow, can I get a part of this? Can there be a stopping point along this route for me?
Right.
Well, I mean, certainly that's an opportunity that exists, right? It doesn't have to just be the state and Boring Company or the city and the Boring Company. It can be private entities in the Boring Company as well once you establish that initial line.
Yeah, and the thing about this is that company then will be able to engage with the public and make decisions about, as they said yesterday, what is needed, what is going to be helpful, what is wanted by the people, and then their decisions to do that and how that fits into their model. And frankly, their model is to build a multi-station system. They're not committing to do that. They're just committing to do this one route. But if the public wants that, I suspect that's where it's going to go.
How is it insane to you? It seems insane to me to consider that a project of this size and scope, the message that I heard was that the Boring Company said, Governor, we feel confident that we can get you in a Tesla while you're still the governor of the state of Tennessee before January 2027 and get you on this line. That time frame seems almost impossible to imagine, but that's what they believe, that they can get it done in that time frame.
Well, they kind of know what they can do because they've done it before. They have technology in these drills and the way they work through. They understand fully about the rock. They understand fully, and these tunnels will, they won't be disruptive. They know how fast they can build them, so they know how quickly they can get this done. And it is cutting edge technology, and it's 90% cheaper. They say they can build their tunnels for about 10% of the cost of what a conventional tunnel construction transit system costs, and they know that. That's why their business model works, and that's why they can do it with private dollars and not require the states.
So are you a claustrophobic guy, Governor? I mean, are you going to be in there in a Tesla once the...
I think it'd be absolutely awesome.
I do too.
I think it'd be absolutely awesome. Get off an airplane and say, I need to be downtown in 8 minutes, and...
Well, and once again, for those, I mean, obviously it's going to be something that the tourists that come into our community, the folks that come to the conventions, they utilize. But the residual effect, I mean, I drive I-40 every day from Mount Juliet, and I see the traffic on I-40 every day. And once you get the construction done at the airport and you consider the thousands of vehicles that will be off the roadways, I mean, it's a net benefit. And then the possibility down the road of what can they do for 65 or 24, or are they interested in doing some additional things that would benefit the community?
Yeah, and when you think about the travel that happens in peak periods, when there's a major convention where we have tens of thousands of people coming in to a convention at a time, or you have an event where people are coming in from out of the country, around the country, to go to a concert in the new Titan Stadium, where you're going to have tens of thousands of people converging on downtown at one time, and many of them coming from the airport. It's also the alleviation of congestion is going to be at peak moments when tourists would be traveling the highway. So yeah, it's going to be fascinating.
I mean, along with the choice lanes. This kind of solidifies infrastructure and transportation and moving people and helping the growth of not just Nashville Metro, but the state by extension. I mean, that's a major piece of your governorship.
All without raising taxes and all without going into debt. That's what the Transportation Modernization Act was. It allowed us to have a funding stream that came in for choice lanes in a public-private partnership. And so we're going to build these multi-billion-dollar highway projects that will allow for congestion alleviation. And we're not going to have to raise taxes to do it because we're going to have private investment in a partnership with the state. We're not going to go into debt to build these roads like so many states do. And now we're going to have a transit system that doesn't require raising taxes, and it doesn't require going into debt or even spending state dollars.
I mean, does it each time we've met and we've had the opportunity to speak in the past, you're such a positive. I mean, it's hard not to be positive in the room with you because you seem so positive, Governor. But there's a lot of naysayers out there, and most of it is politically driven. Does it frustrate you ever that I mean, because it feels like some of the most vocal opponents to this ought to be right up front. They want to get, pollution, belching automobiles off our roads. They want to move toward a cleaner type of system. This feels it's not mass transit, but it feels like it's kind of more that than just singular cars on the roadways. It feels like some of your naysayers ought to be right there saying, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in this job now for 7 years, and people would say, well, critics say this or that. And, there's always critics, especially when you're talking about politics and politicians. There are always critics. I just don't see how they can be serious about this. I mean, they're gonna be critical because they're critical, and they got to come up with. They can't be supportive of something that, someone in some other party, someone that's not in their party rolled it out and worked to get it done. And so, but I think people that are serious, that are leaders, that are elected officials, that are really genuinely looking at what is good for the people of this city and the people of this state, you're going to see them be supportive of this. Yeah, they're going to have questions, and they want to make sure that it is what it has been, proposed to be. But they're going to find out it is, and when they do, they're gonna be supportive, I think.
Now, I'm certain you've talked to Elon. When's he coming to the city? When's he? Is he gonna stop in and
I
monitor progress?
I have not. I certainly don't know what he's going to do, and I don't know of any plans for that. He didn't know.
The
guys. I guess that guy's got a lot of things going on. So I don't know what his plans are.
We got a lot of things going on in the state too, and this is a component that we're all very excited about. Before you go, and I know you're limited on time, but outside of the tunnel piece, the Music City Loop piece, how do you feel like the scholarship? I mean, it was a big deal for you.
Yeah.
I know that it was important. You had it in session, didn't get it done that first time around, got it back, got a special session to take care of it. How do you feel like it's going, and are you excited to watch some of the implementation this fall?
Yeah, that whole issue became important to me in my heart, really, as I worked in the inner city with at-risk youth some 20 years ago. And 17, 18 years ago, I got engaged in educational issues with those kids, and I started realizing then, hey, they just ought to have another option. And that's when it was born in my heart. And so when I came into office, we started on it the first year. I talked about that in my first day of the state, school choice. And so to get it done, because I care deeply about the kids in this state. And that is what drove my passion for this and why I continued to work on it for year after year. And even when it didn't happen, I said, I'm going to keep trying as long as I'm here. So I'm very grateful for the members of the legislature that worked with us to help get that done. It's rolled out, when there were almost 40,000 applications in the first hour. Part of the test is, do Tennesseans really want this? Absolutely, they want it. 40,000 families. And we only had 20,000 scholarships. So, and the good news is, half of those are income limited. They're based on their income. Lower income families get those. They're evenly divided across K through 12. The rollout has been very effective and a massive thing to do in a very short period of time. But we're excited about the fact that there are 20,000 families that are going to have a choice this fall to educate their children how they want them to be educated, that parents will be able to choose for the first time in this state and have some options. So I'm very grateful. I'm very excited about the prospects going forward. I'm mostly excited for those kids.
I was going to ask you about, as we get toward the end of your governorship, but it occurs to me, a year and a half. I mean, there's still plenty of
It's a long time
to get things done. I mean, as you run strong through the tape, what's next on the horizon for you? What can you tell us will be, kind of, do you have priorities in mind when it comes to the last 18 months?
Yeah. There's a lot. I feel a bit of urgency. There is only a year and a half left. It's a long time, but it's enough time to get important things done. And I only have one shot at this to get these things done for Tennesseans. And so I'm going to work hard to the very end. But transportation, a big announcement yesterday. We'll continue to work on infrastructure and transportation issues going forward. We're going to continue to work. As you know, I've been pretty focused on energy and nuclear energy and the advancement of that and working with companies that are investing in Tennessee. We've attracted multiple nuclear-based ecosystem companies up into the Oak Ridge area, some massive investments like Orano from France that's going to enrich uranium here for safe, clean, effective energy in small modular reactors. We think we may be the first state in America to build a small modular reactor. We're working hard with the Department of Energy to see if that can happen. So I'm focused on energy. I'm focused on infrastructure. I'm focused on educational issues and workforce development. I mean, when a state like Tennessee is attracting companies like this, I just met with a Japanese company that's expanding or considering expansion and investment in our state. They want to know, do we have the workers? When you talk to CEOs of companies around the world, they want to know, do you have the power and do you have the workers? So those are two of the things that we're really going to be focused on in the next 18 months.
Governor, thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. I mean, it's such a big week. We appreciate you stopping by and just giving us your perspective on everything that's been going on. And we can't wait to watch it happen. It's not going to be long. I mean, it's hard to believe that, you can get something like that. I mean, no disrespect to the guys building the stadium, right? But this thing is expected to be in operation before we see our first concert or game at the new stadium on the East Bank. So it's a very exciting time to be in the state of Tennessee.
It is. I'm so blessed and honored to be able to be in this spot to work with leaders all over the state to make sure Tennessee's leading the country.
Thank you, Governor.
Thanks, sir. There's
Governor Bill Lee. We've right at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock. I got us in there and got us out of there. Jackson, you take it away, and we'll be back in just a moment.